Speak up.
When you get old, you don't want to crawl on the ground anymore to farm. Or at least I don't. You do raised bed. Around here, winter stops most of our plants. So this turns into a greenhouse in the winter. This is pressure treated wood, which people will throw a fit that you don't want it near your plants. Well, it's not near the plants actually. There's metal on the inside where the dirt is. There's metal flashing in the corners. So there's no wood touching the actual dirt. Built the raised bed first with the intention of doing windows and a roof over it. That was going to look too bulky. And eventually we agreed on the A-frame you see here now. In the winter the door will go on. The hinges are still hanging on here. Plastic will go over it, and plastic end caps. During the summer this way it's able to be nice and open. Winter there's a fan up there and a crawl space bin up there that opens up when it gets up above either 50 or 70. The middle is just commercial roofing metal. You can get leftovers from orders a lot cheaper. A lot of times the colors won't be what you want. If you look on the inside of this was actually a blue. We decided we didn't want a blue, but the back side, almost all of them was this white.
Yep.
So I turned them inside out. They had a bunch that were red, and we probably wouldn't have wanted red either, but they were white on the back side, so it's something to consider. You can flip them the other way. We don't care about the blue showing on the inside.
I'm really glad we did the white.
And it cost about half of what their regular price was on the metal that way. So somebody ordered, more than they needed, and this was what, left over from an order. During the winter, there's more electric that comes in here to run across for the fans and thermostats for it.
Yeah, you got the hooks up there for that.
We actually have it a little fancy out here. Alexa, play music.
Here's Pandora.
So my wife's plants can listen to whatever kind of music they're into that day. And we also can turn some of these lights on and off by Pandora. We used a few older, somewhat vintage lights we had. In the winter here is Alexa, stop. In the winter when it's still cold outside, this gets up to 50 to 80 degrees pretty easy during the day. Makes a nice place for her to come out to.
Yeah.
Keeps these plants go. It'll drop down below freezing at night, but they don't get any frost on the plants, so all the greens and stuff do fine. The peppers won't make it all winter, the eggplant won't. But all our greens and a lot of the stuff is fine without really any heating. We do just a little bit of heat in here, not much. Care to spend a lot on it that way.
Yeah.
We just have single ply plastic on it in the winter because mostly we're just trying to keep our greens and some of the stuff that way. You could double it and put more heat to it and keep more going.
And we're going to do a video on that when we put the plastic up.
There's worm compost tubes in there. I can't tell you for sure how much they do or don't do, but we do have quite a bit of worms in this bed, and they seem to be doing well, so I'm guessing they're helping. If not, they aren't hurting anyways, because we've had a very healthy amount of worms in here.
Yeah.
We're able to put some compost in there, and then we got compost bins out back.
Yeah. we'll do a video on that someday too.
Have the drip irrigation inside here for during the summer. Much better for the plants to get watered that way.
Yeah, from instead of below, and I had much better. I didn't have as many problems this year
Yeah.
with different things.
You still have some bugs, some things, but with the raised beds and with the drip irrigation, it helps calm that some.
And we got those from
Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight. They were like 15 a piece, and they were quite long actually.
And there's a controller over here that automatically waters both these beds in the morning. And if you got a bunch of rain, you can come out here and hit the button for it not to go off the next day.
Yeah.
This raised bed has drip irrigation in it too. There's the compost bins out back.
And those you made out of free pallets.
Yeah.
We just picked up free pallets somewhere.
We have our weather station up on top.
Yeah.
Back behind here we have our outdoor sink, which is a big help when you're gardening.
Yeah, it's a little messy right now, but this is one of my favorite things that we've done. We had to redo the gate. I think that's what started it, because all this was fenced in right here.
Yeah,
Our cow is hanging again. That's okay. Yeah.
Working sink.
Yes, I love
During
this.
the winter, this will have to be shut off because of freezing temperatures.
Yeah.
And water just goes into a bucket with holes in it. It goes out in the gravel there and drains out.
Yes, lady. And you even put a towel on the side. One of my favorite parts.
You can come over and wash your hands and then dry them off. And this dries off rather quickly hanging
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah. And we're actually in the process of staining the whole wood fence to make it last longer.
And there's a rock and flower garden over there to help with pollinators for the...
Yeah. And that definitely did bring in a lot of bees and hummingbirds. And what's the rock called?
That's river rock.
River rock.
Pea gravel size.
Yeah. That was nice. Because now we don't have to worry about the walkways.
Yeah.
So you kind of planned it on paper first, the big one.
The
and
big bed we planned is we wanted to get as much area as we could for what we were spending on wood, and that the 4 feet across allows you to reach halfway from each side or a little better. And then enclosing it part, we went through a lot of options before we finally settled on the A-frame.
Yeah.
Then the grass was staying muddy inside there in the center, so we poured the concrete in inside and did the rest of the stuff around it. Having raised beds helps a lot when you have a dog that likes to eat things too.
Yep. Well, we don't have to worry about the groundhogs. Well, maybe they climb, I don't know.
They could if they wanted to, but with the dog now, they don't really come in the yard much.
Yeah.
If they did, they wouldn't stay long enough to get up in there.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that, whatever that rack is on the side where the wiggle wire goes in?
Oh, that's the J channel. This is what holds your plastic for the thing. It's the J channel, and then there's a wiggle. You pull the plastic over it, and there's a wiggle wire that you twist into there to hold the plastic. But we'll have to do another video on that.
Yeah. And what did you say that? Because people ask me how much did this cost you to build it, and I know how thrifty we try to be.
I did it as cheap as I could and tried to buy sizes of lumber where I didn't have a whole lot of waste on cuts and stuff, and we still probably have between $1,200 and $1,500 in materials in here, and I was able to get the dirt for free with the work that I do. But, you know, so there's some people would have more in it, but that's about what we got in there.
Yeah. And we filled these with the dirt, but you can put like logs and big tree branches. If you had a lot of logs on your property, you could fill that with those.
It would eventually rot down. You wouldn't want to go too high, because you want to leave enough room for your roots and stuff for your plants starting, and then eventually the wood would rot down.
Yeah. So you got the siding, the wood. We opted for no windows, which I think was a big decision, because at first we just couldn't, the window situation just wasn't working out for us anyway.
Yeah, really wanted to be able to open it up all the way in the spring, summer, and fall, and just, you know, wasn't going to be able to.
It was going to cost a lot too.
It cost a lot, and this ended up being a good middle ground for us to kind of enjoy both.
Yeah, I think our plan B was like a hoop house, and that just wasn't really working either, because it wasn't very sturdy, was it, with the plastic hoops?
I don't think it would have been. We never really, you know, it could have been tied in more to strengthen it, but it just, you know, for what we were wanting, it just wasn't.
And I think this is really strong. You know, we've had some storms when the plastic was up, and I was really pleasantly surprised.
We bought 6 mil, but we bought regular greenhouse plastic, and yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the strength of it and how well it held up. The plastic that you would buy in Home Depot or the other, that's like construction plastic for underneath concrete and stuff, and it doesn't hold up to the sun.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
The regular greenhouse plastic, you can get it on Amazon or eBay or some of the other suppliers. I just was able to find the size close to what we wanted on Amazon, and it's supposed to last like 4 years. I don't know if it will for us, because you get little tears sometimes where the wiggle wire goes in with taking it in and out, where somebody building a regular greenhouse would put it on and leave it and not take it on and off.
True,
so,
right.
You know, I'll be happy if we get 2 or 3 seasons out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I think they look to get 4 to 6 out of it when it's just put on and left on. But, you know, with us taking it on and off, I don't think we'll get us, even though it's not up as long, I think, you know, we'll have more torn places from putting the wiggle wire in and out of it.
Yeah. It was surprisingly easy to do. Once it was all set up, once you had all this in place, what did you call that again?
Wiggle wire.
No, the
J-channel.
J-channels. Once all that was in place, the wiggle wire goes in really easily.
Yeah.
I really like that stuff. We tell everybody about it.
And that's normal greenhouse material. There's probably another probably close to $200 in wiggle wire, plastic, J-frame wiggle wire, plastic, and then the extra wood that I bought to go with on the ends to hold the plastic for the places that I didn't use. The J-channel.
So is that
So we
included?
made the back to where where we can open it.
Yeah.
You know, on hot days, and you know, so that it wasn't practical to do that with the J-channel.
Yeah. Right. So that cost that you were just saying, was that included in your cost that you said, $1,200 to $1,500?
Yeah, you know, with all that in there, we're probably closer to the 1,500.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
Just take a stroll back here. And the trellises was a bed frame cut in half that he salvaged out of a mattress frame. And it's working.